So the next topic which we will be going to study is about the vernalization. In this we will be studying about what is the vernalization, what was the history of vernalization, what is the mechanism of floral induction in vernalized plants. So we will be going to discuss all these things in these slides. So let's get started with the vernalization. That what is vernalization? Introduction. So first we will discuss what is it all about. So the plants basically they have evolved the ability to alter their developmental programs in response to environmental stimuli. So what is the major switch here? The major switch here is that the developmental programs is the transition of flowering plants. So in many species, the timing of this transition is determined by seasonal changes that are sensed by the plants. So there are two main environmental clues that basically plants monitor to determine the correct time to flowers. So that is photoperiod and the temperature. So these are the two basically main environmental clues that basically that plant monitors to determine the correct time to flower. Then comes vernalization. So in this figure basically I have basically also the figure was taken from this reference. So in this figure there was no cold exposure to the plant here, but after 1 to 2 weeks there was a cold exposure to the plant, and after 3 to 6 weeks there was a cold exposure to the plant, and the plant has been seen in the flowering stage here. So what happens is vernalization describes the promotion of flowering after exposure to cold. Cold basically is 0 to 5 degrees Celsius is considered as a cold temperature, and the vernalization concept is described here where the promotion of flowering after the exposure to cold is being determined. So it has been derived from the Latin word vernus, which is meaning of the spring. So it has derived from the Latin word. After vernalization, basically plants do not necessarily initiate the flowering, but they acquire the competence to do so. So it is reversible and can be lost as a result of exposure to the conditions such as high temperature. So the vernalized state can also be maintained through tissue culture. It can be maintained through the process of tissue culture. So next is about the studies which have been done on this. Studies which was involving the grafting and localized cooling have shown that the apical meristem is the site of cold perception during vernalization, and vernalization causes the meristem to become competent to cells. So vernalization causes the meristem to become competent to the flower. Thus, dividing cells are a prerequisite for vernalization. So, dividing cells is a prerequisite of vernalization. After grafting experiment, which was being done by G. Melcher in case of henbane plant, what he postulated was, that the existence of a hypothetical compound which is called as verlin for the vernalization stimuli. So he postulated this experiment, and what happens is when Melcher grafted a vernalized herbane plant to another non-vernalized plant that has never experienced low temperature, it flowered. So there was a crossing experiment which was being taken place here, that when a vernalized herbane plant which was transferred to non-herbane plant, then it shows the flowering. It flowered. It suggests that some substances found in the vernalized plant is basically transported to the non-vernalized plant, and it is responsible for the induction of flowering in the latter plant. So it is responsible for the induction of flowering in the latter plant. The substance is known as verlin. This substance is known as verlin. So that there were many attempts to isolate and identify Verlin, but which have completely failed. So whether the vernal is same as Flaurin or as a precursor of Flaurin is not known. So the next scientist which comes into the picture was Anton Lang. What he done was he found that gibberellins, that is the another plant hormone, which is applied to certain plants biennials, induce them to flower without a low temperature treatment. So it means gibberellins can substitute the vernalization. So the substitute of vernalization can be gibberellins, that is the another plant hormone. Then comes the mechanism of floral induction in vernalized plants. So there were many genetic and psychological studies of the vernalization pathway in the plant in this species that identified that some of the genes are involved in this process. So there were many experiments which was taken place to understand that what is the genes that are involved in this process that leads to the flowering of the plants. So vernalization basically involves epigenetic changes in the expression of genes, that is FLC, that is flowering locus C. This basically encodes a MADS box transcription factor that represses the flowering. It is expressed predominantly in mitotically active regions. Then, so in this species, basically FLC works by directly repressing the expression of FT genes in leaves and SOC1 and FT genes at the shoot apical meristem. So in response to vernalization, basically the amount of Fc and mRNA protein is reduced. So the reduction of FLC expression by vernalization, it involves the chromatin remodeling. It involves the chromatin remodeling of FLC that requires the vernalization in sensitive 3 protein. So the product of these two genes were VRN1, that is vernalization 1, and VRN2, that is responsible for the FLC genes but in a very different manner. So the products are needed for the maintenance but not the initiation of FLC silencing, that is flowering locus C. So in this way, vernalization basically promotes the flowering by reducing the FLC expression. So all basically this mechanism basically promotes the vernalization and it basically reduces the FLC expression. So this was all about the concept of vernalization. These are all the references. This is the Wikipedia link. Then these are all the papers. This is the link for the figure which I have taken, and this is the paper. Thank you.